Welcome back to Coffee and Cocktails. As always, my name is Thomas, and today we're making a Starbucks drink. Let's get into it. We're making the iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso from Starbucks. For those of you that know me, I have a disdain for Starbucks. There's a push and pull, love-hate relationship I have with Starbucks. A lot more on the dislike side, but we'll get into that a little bit later. What I do love about Starbucks is they have taken coffee and elevated it into a more consumer-based model, where there are people like myself who I didn't know what coffee was, and Starbucks created an avenue where I was able to go in there and try different drinks to figure out, I guess, kind of my stepping stone into what coffee is now. Now, the big thing that Starbucks has really done for the third wave or craft coffee scene is there's a saying called rising tides raise all ships. And that's very, very true. I mean, it was born in the Pacific Northwest, and you see places like Portland or Seattle that have a big influx of Starbucks. Those cities are also some of the cities that have the most densely populated third wave coffee shops or craft coffee shops in the area. So when you do see a lot of Starbucks rise in a place, it does lend itself to the opportunity for some craft coffee or third wave coffee shops to enter. So that love-hate relationship comes into play, where if there's a Starbucks coming near you, there's probably an opportunity for a really nice coffee shop to come into play too. So that's the thing that I like about Starbucks. It was my introductory into coffee. I think it was like the creme brulee, something brulee latte, whatever it was back when I was like 16, 17 years old. But now the dislike side of Starbucks for me comes from really their ethics and how they go at treating coffee farmers. Now there's a lot of documentation out there in the world that talks about the ethics of Starbucks and how they treat the farmers and the farms where they buy their beans. And I'm not going to go into detail here because it's not really my place. But what I will say is, if you have an opportunity to pay the coffee farmers more, please do it. That's why I really love third wave coffee shops. So they have that personal connection with the coffee farmers and the owners of the coffee land. And you have a connection and you have a relationship. You want to know who is farming your beans, who is roasting your beans, where they're coming from. If you can invest into that place and meet them face to face, do it. I think Starbucks has gotten to the place where they just see coffee as a dollar sign or just numbers on a board, and they don't care about the people that actually make their coffee what it is. Now there's this ubiquitous side of coffee that they mass produce it, obviously. I mean, you see it's across the globe. And so to do that, you need to make all the coffee taste the same. There's no really variance in how they roast coffee or how they brew the coffee. So there is this kind of burnt flavor that you see in all of their beans. But this is not a Starbucks bashing video. This is more of a, how do we take a Starbucks drink, bring it to your home coffee setup, and make it craft, third wave, really good, easily accessible for you guys at home. Because there are some tasty drinks, there are some balanced recipes that have really come to light out of Starbucks' invigoration of coffee, because it's not just black coffee or lattes or cappuccinos or maybe even your macchiatos, yes, true macchiatos, or your cortados. There's an exploration, same thing with cocktails. There's an exploration with coffee that you can really dive into some really cool flavor profiles that actually highlight the beans that you taste. So, with that being said, with it being warm outside, it is summer. Let's make an iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. Let's get into it. So for this recipe, we have 1.5 ounces of our espresso. I'm using a Costa Rican coffee here. To that, we're going to add about a teaspoon of brown sugar. The heat of the espresso should allow the brown sugar to dissolve easily with no clumps. And we're going to add that into our ice-filled shaker tin. Inside our shaker tin, we're also going to add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract to get some of that sweetness. Shake it all together for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then finally top it off with our nice oat milk. After stirring this all together, we're going to top it with a little dash of cinnamon, and it's okay to make messes here. Cheers everybody, hope you enjoy it.